friend that has a distiller, and she's really anxious to do the right thing with the distilled water, and she adds minerals after she distills it.
I feel sorry for her because she has missed the boat. This is just what we're using the distilled water for, is to get rid of the minerals. Yes, we've got two types of minerals, organic and inorganic, live and dead. Your water supply today in all cities has one big problem, as it does in the country. Whether it's spring water, well water, artesian, or coming from the city pipeline, it is hard. It is very seldom you'll ever find a zero soft water. Most all of your water is hard, but it is a dead inorganic mineral that's in that water that cannot be assimilated by vegetation. It cannot be assimilated by human beings. And this hard water is what forms kidney stones, gallstones, neuritis, bursitis, rheumatism, arthritis, glaucoma, cataracts, so forth and so on, because it is that which cannot be assimilated. Huh? Yes, we have one here. How many weeks was this?
That's about
15 or 20 gallon. This isn't fit for man or beast. This was distilled, and this is what came out of it. All water isn't that bad. Some of us were. I mean, this condition of water that is loaded with mineral, people say, well, I need that mineral. I need to drink from that deep well, or I need to drink from that hard water because I need those minerals. They need those minerals like another hole in the head, because those are minerals that cannot be assimilated. They are accepted into the body. They are accepted, but not assimilated, and consequently they lie in heavy deposits and cause side effects and after effects. And those are those things I just mentioned. Kidney stones, gallstones, and so forth. Never will plant life be used successfully until it has absorbed water itself. But it has a different ability than the human body does. In Mother Earth is every food that's needed for mankind. It has all the 17 basic and the 70 trace minerals. It's loaded with them. And it's there for us to use. But if we take a shovel full of dirt out of our garden that's well taken care of, we use an osmosis separator and separate each of the minerals by themselves, and then make them pharmaceutically fine and put them into capsules or tablets. We got the minerals, all 17 basic and 70 trace minerals. They're there. And we can accept them all into our body. We can accept every one of them. But we won't assimilate much of it. It lies there as dead deposits, inorganic minerals that cannot be assimilated. It has to go, every bit of this has to go through plant life. The seeds are in the earth, they go in, and like an osmosis separator, they pull from the dust of the earth the minerals out. And by osmosis, they change the dead inorganic mineral to live, vibrating organic minerals that can be assimilated, where before they could only be accepted. All right, in your tap water, you've got that mineral which can be accepted into the body, but it cannot be assimilated. So we get the water distilled. Wonderful. And we turn around and we put the same crazy minerals back in again that we can accept but can't assimilate. We're going north to go south. No, it just doesn't work. Where do we get our minerals? From fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and seeds. They're there. They're there in abundance. And an ample amount. So there's nothing to worry about. So, back me up. There is one of the great drinks of all times. Nectar of the gods, ambrosia, honeydew, moonbeams. In other words, it quenches the thirst. I'll have to tell you quickly why I finally came around to drinking distilled water. For years, I didn't know what distilled water was. I had no idea. I hadn't done any research on it. But I'd been crippled for so long. At this particular time, I had been in the wheelchair for about 9 months. And the pain was excruciatingly bad. I had been suffering so bad that finally one night the pain conked me out. I mean, I blanked out. I was lying there in bed and I just couldn't take any more. And I had a dream. And this dream was specifically for me. It showed over on this side was the most beautiful garden I'd ever seen, an orchard. And it was lush, absolutely looked like the Garden of Eden. And immediately it stopped, and here was desert. And there was a stone culvert going across here. And over on this side was a rock mountain. And out of the rock mountain came the most beautiful stream of water, a spring just sparkling. It came out and it bounced down over the rocks in this falls, went into the culvert, went across, and watered the garden. And in my dream I said, oh, it's the water that makes the beautiful garden. And a voice said, or the spirit or something, and it is the water that makes this. And that quickly I was taken to a hospital room, and I was in front of a hospital bed where a man by osmosis or ossification had been turned to stone. And as he laid there, only his eyes would move back and forth. And he looked up at me and he pleaded with me. I could tell with those eyes he was pleading for me to do something. But he was stone. Now, since that time, I have seen several of them in circuses, people who have turned to stone. And it's a frightening thing. It is. Well, here was the case. I knew it had something to do with me. And I woke my wife up. And I told her the story. And she said, well, honey, it's trying to tell you that you're supposed to drink certain type of liquid for your arthritis. And I said, yeah, but I can't quite make it out. See, I tell you, it's kind of thick up here sometimes. It takes a while to get it through. So we went back to sleep. And the next day I was pretty serious about it because I was suffering so. And I knew a man. I swapped some materials I had for a water softener. And a very expensive water softener. So he puts the water softener in. And I gave him my merchandise. And everybody was happy. And I started drinking soft water like it was going out of style. And I got worse. I mean, I quit drinking it. It got me so bad. Now, it was soft water, zero soft. But all it was an ion exchange. That was all. Well, I got back to suffering again, and a few months went by, and a young fellow came by me. I was sitting in a wheelchair, and he tossed a book into my lap. The name of the book is The Choice is Clear by Dr. Bennick. Dr. Bennick, yes. The Choice is Clear. And as I sat, I just ate it up. I mean, boy, that just, it hit well. I knew this was it. And he told about distilled water and the difference between that and spring water and one thing and another. So I called up, got some distilled water coming into me, and in 3 weeks I was back on a lecture platform again. Yes, and I carry distilled water with me always. And the people who sponsor me on my 100-odd lectures a year, they know that I will not even appear for a lecture unless they've got steamed distilled water for me. My minerals come from fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and seeds, but this is the reason. Now, let's reverse the whole picture. Generation after generation, inorganic minerals have accumulated and been passed on down. And finally, we get people who have hardening of the arteries very early in life. Arteriosclerosis is a sad thing. The condition was passed on down, and because the condition was not altered, it gets worse as we go along. This condition here is one wherein we've got to change it. We've got to, as time comes along, switch. But now our bodies are loaded with dead inorganic minerals. In reading the iris of the eye, we can look in and we can see a deposit of iron here, a deposit of sodium here. We can see some magnesium and aluminum in various parts of the body. That has to be reversed. And so by drinking steam distilled water, you take it into the body and it will reverse the whole picture. The program is this. Snows and rains fall up here in the mountains, and they melt and run down the valleys, into the valleys. Our rocks and our heavy mineralization is up here. Down in the valleys, over the years, we've mined it out. We've farmed out all the minerals. And so nature reverses now and brings the minerals down and loads the valleys with dead inorganic mineral for the plants to absorb and keep us healthy. This water, as it comes down, it's zero soft when it hits the top of the mountain, snow or rain. And the farther it travels, the longer it progresses along, the harder it gets. And down until when it hits the dam in Salt Lake, it's about 18 grains hard. And by the time it gets out to Magna, it's 27 grains hard. Well, anything past zero soft isn't fit for man or beast. So this is why the steam distilled water, because it will reverse. It will start now doing what we're afraid it's going to do in the first place, leach out the minerals. Well, glory be, that's just what it's going to do. It's going to leach them out. But it's going to leach out the dead inorganic minerals, and it will never, under any condition, ever touch a live mineral that can be assimilated. We've got nothing to fear about. Any mineral that's going to be assimilated into the human body will be assimilated. Those that cannot be assimilated and only accepted into deposits will be taken into solution and leached out with your steam distilled water.